Good morning, folks. We are back with Arno on the wall. Arno on the wall this morning. What is the conversation this morning, sir?
The conversation is about how do I find myself?
How do you find yourself? Where do you think, what's in your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul? How do you think finding yourself could make you a better or different person within this century that we are in? How can you teach somebody to find thyself?
That's a very good question. Why do we find ourselves? We would hear people saying to you or saying to someone, hey, you need to look deep in yourself. You need to sink yourself. You need to, open up yourself. And they'll be telling you all these things. And in other words, they will be telling you to search out who you are. And how do we go about doing these things? And why do we do these things? You see, by one searching out his or herself, it help him or her to become a better person than the last ones. What do I mean? You see, sometimes we do things and we say things and we operate towards ourselves or to people, even to animals, to our siblings, our spouses in a particular way because, due to plenty contamination, we might have, we might be going through financial pressure, emotional pressure, social pressure, spiritual pressure, etc. And sometimes one of our loved ones or even a stranger may come to us and we may lash out to them in a particular way that it wasn't right and it wasn't nice. Or we might treat ourselves in a way and deny ourselves a great level of pleasure or happiness. Yeah, greetings to you, Ronnie, my personal friend. Heart of love. Yeah, and so when somebody tell you to search yourself, it's for you now to sit down and re-examine. May not be specifically minute by minute or second by second, but examine yourself. Examine yourself in how you were last month, how you were last week, how you were yesterday, how you were even 10 minutes ago. And when you sit down to examine yourself and you sit down and you began to study, well, hey, you know what, I was in this conversation or I was dealing with this person and I operated in this particular way that have me real, I want to use the term delusional, have me real agitated, So when you sit down now and you start to reflect, sometimes we behave in a way or we act out in a way that is not fair or is not just to the next person or to our own self personally. So people will tell you, boy, you're a little hasty, you have to check yourself, boy, you have to watch yourself. But you're seeing yourself every day, you're watching yourself every day. I checking myself, I find this jersey a little fitted on me and I don't really like fitted clothes, but I checking myself. What do you mean? I check myself, I have 2 hands, 2 feet, 5 fingers, 10 toes, And so we mean by check myself, But I mean, I don't check myself, I don't know, you know. But we're not talking about the clothes you have on, your fingers or your toes. You know, these things are not you. Your hands, your toes, your heart, your belly, your brain, you know, they are not you. They are, however, yours. So when someone tell you, check yourself, they mean, you know, search a little deeper. You know, look at your character as an individual. You know, there might be a situation that you may attend to too headstrong or attend to it in a manner that will aggressive or too soft. You know, so one needs to sit down and go over and re-examine. But it is something that is not easily done. And there are certain ways that we can go about doing it and even making a conscious effort of doing so. Right? Because all of us check ourselves. All of us at some point in our life, we check ourselves. But what happens to some of us is we are too busy, or we are too caught up with society, we are too caught up with economics, we are too caught up with finance, we are too caught up with our job to really recognize or come to the consciousness that, hey, look, I'm looking at myself and everything is about me. You know, and there are stages that one can become conscious, and from there one will be able to either divert or gravitate into a better stage where one can find his or herself sitting anyway and do a self-check or a self-examine, regardless to what's going wrong or going on around he or her. You know, as I say, it's something we all do. We all do it, and majority of the times we are not even self-conscious that we are checking ourselves. And sometimes when we do check ourselves, it's because we check ourselves for the wrong, not wrong, but we check ourselves for the materialistic things only. You know? And I'm going to awaken your consciousness, right? And show you the way how we do it. And now that you're listening to this live, you'll be able now to focus properly and become conscious on what you're doing and understand why it is important for someone to actually check themselves. You know, now we all have mirrors in our home or where we stay at. You know, sometimes we may not have it in our home, but we may have it at our job. You know, in the changing room or the bathroom or whatever the case may be. We all have mirror. You know, and some point in our life, we look in the mirror. Right? Either to see how we look and to, you know, if this body sit down right on me for the females, or if this top look nice, or how this pants look, or I wonder if my bottom showing, and all these kind of things, you know. A man might check his suit and find a little smooth thread in order and all these kind of things. And that is the stage that we need to be in, right? Because when we sit down and we look into the mirror, the only thing we see in the mirror is ourselves, right? And regardless you might have your faucets, you might have, if you're in a bathroom, you might have your faucet, you might get a reflection of the bathroom area or the toilet area, you go have creams and bottles, you go have all kind of things there to distract you. But at that particular, if you're in your bedroom, you know, it might have your bed, it might have your spouse looking sexy, lying down there, it might have clothes there, your wardrobe, the whole scenario. You know, but it's not that it don't exist. It do exist because it is there. But the thing with it is just that because you're so focused on yourself and making sure that you have on the right makeup, or the lipstick ain't too heavy or it ain't too light, you know, and the brothers want to make sure their hair comb and they top fit nice and their pants and all these kind of things. That moment that we take just to focus on ourselves, that is all we need. And that's it. You know, but so when we look in the mirror, even though it have all these things, yet it does not distract us, because we are at that moment, we become so focused on the image that we are looking at to make sure we look presentable for society. So now, what we need to do is we need to use that same procedure, and when we're looking into the mirror, we stare or we look at the image, not to see how many makeup we have on, not to see if we lipstick on right, or if this earring I'm wearing, if it suits my clothes, but we're looking into the mirror because we are looking at ourselves. And while we are looking at ourselves in return are looking at us. You know, and in that space, when it's in that space now, you're making a conscious effort to really look at yourself. Not what you have on, not what lipsticks you're wearing or makeup or how your hair do or done, but you're taking a moment to examine yourself. And you know, and you would find in doing so, you will start to make a little monkey face and thing up and thing, so you might see a pimple or a button or a black hair, and you know, you might observe, oh my gosh, look at how much gray hair I have, or oh, my hair look, you know. So now you start to look into yourself at an even more deeper and a more personal level, that the only thing you're seeing within everything is yourself. So you're watching you. And by you doing that now, and you know, sometimes you would stand and you would look serious, you know, and regardless to what people would say or what people will do, you know, what people would say or what people would do or talk about you. Hey, you looking real old, you looking real old, you looking real gray, you looking this, you looking that. You know, when you really stare within, you know, things that sometimes you cannot see because we are so busy and we are so caught up in doing, looking at other things, that we lost the focus. And then you'll realize, you know, hey, look myself, smiling at myself, you know, and you're watching and you will see a smirk. Nowadays, now you're starting to see past everything. And then, you know, then you will start to see and realize how beautiful you are. Like, wow, I'm so beautiful. You know, you'll watch and you will want to touch your face, look at your, pull back your hair, smile, you know, because now it's not about, you're not doing it to please or to satisfy the mass. It's just a personal relationship that you are having with you and you. So now you come into a consciousness now, and you're starting to it's starting to you come to a consciousness now, and you're starting to really look at yourself. And you know, you're starting to examine yourself. You're starting to feel yourself. You're starting to you know, you see me, boy, I find again some little bags here, or again this here, and I really need to do some supplements, and I really need to take care of myself some more, and I really need to, you know, plenty of things like that, you know. So, you know, and you need, yeah, you know, and you need to, so now you're starting to admire yourself. You're starting to fall back in love with yourself. So regardless to who see you as how they see you, you know, it somehow we use so we so health conscious when it comes to other people. From the time they say, oh gosh, look how fat you get, look how gray you get, you know, and if we don't have that level of security, by you starting to look deep in yourself, in the mirror, and everything don't matter, you're in a world by yourself, you will realize, yeah, I'm getting fat, you know, but I'm still beautiful. Yeah, I'm getting old, you know, but I'm still beautiful, and this is me. You know, and so now you start to find that level of comfort in yourself. Now, when you start to reach that stage, now you're starting to accept yourself for who you are. Yes, with your personal vibration, you may want to do some tweaking with yourself, but there it starts. You know, the same mirror that we see only for this social image. Now we're looking at the mirror, and everything, nothing in the room exists. Nothing in the room matters. Nobody matters. It's just you and you, observing you and appreciating you. And you know, within this whole operation, you know, one would start back now to become conscious of who they are. One would become a, you know what, I am beautiful. I am strong. I am powerful. You know, and most important, I am me. And so that self-confidence would start to come back into you, you know, if you don't have it. And those who already have it will start to smile because, you know, they feel this level of comfort, this level of relaxation. So when one starts to practice this and sit down or stand up in front of the mirror and look beyond the physical appearance and start to examine his or herself, you know, then one will be able now, once he started training himself in that way, you would find one would be able now to go outside, to go by a park, to go by the sea, to sit down some way and take self out of self and just sit down and relax. You know, because we never had time for ourselves. We are too busy because we allow ourselves to be caught up in everything that goes on in society besides ourselves. So after we have passed that stage, now it becomes easier for someone to sit down outside and just take some deep breath. You know, some deep breath, inhale and exhale, and come to that relaxation. And you see now, when one reaches to that stage of relaxation, one would therefore start to reminisce. And he or she would start to think about all sorts and all manner of things. You know, but the things you're thinking about, you know, it shouldn't be things that not beneficial to you. So when you start to sit down now and you start to think how beautiful you are, how wonderful you were made, you know, how you were throughout all your trials or throughout all your tribulation, you know, you're still here. You know, yes, I am strong. You know, and you understand that I am who I am not. You know, I am beautiful. I am not a coward. I am strong. I am not ugly. I am powerful. I am not weak. You know, so you now start to fully grasp that concept. So now you operate and your whole demeanor will change, because now you start to appreciate yourself. So when, you know, so after a couple of days or weeks you practice looking in the mirror and start staring, you can afford now to come and find somewhere that most likely will be tranquil to you. You know, and tranquility places can be found anyway. It has some people find their tranquility sitting down in the toilet. There are those who find their tranquility in the bathroom, in the shower that is. There are those who would be sitting down like me on the wall and they would find their tranquility. There are those who may have to go in the park. There may be those who might just sit down in their bed all by themselves and take that moment, not just to, oh gosh, I'm tired, let me go and sleep, but to sit down and inhale and exhale.
5 minutes is important.
You know? Yeah, you know, give yourself that time to check yourself, to reflect, to say, you know, boy, yesterday was a little challenging. Oh, yesterday was good. You know, and I like that vibes I feel yesterday, boy. So I want to try to maintain that kind of vibration because I feel good within myself. You know, and this is how it starts. You see, we are not conscious or we are not aware that the people or the person we need to spend a lot of time with is ourselves. You know, we are so busy and we are so caught up in spending time with everybody and doing things for everybody, and you know we never had time for ourselves. And this is what you would find now when we are not having time for ourselves. We start to age and we start to become so miserable, you know, and we want to know why. You know, that is because we are not taking that time and to enjoy what creation we are. You know, because we dwell on so many different things. And this is one of the ways that you can help you to find yourself. You know, you start in the mirror. And just the way, or as I say, the same concept you have, that you blind out everything and you're focusing on yourself. You know, how creative, how beautiful, how charming, how wonderful you are. Is that it happen. So, you know, you wouldn't feel no shame if you have to go to town or get harassed or feel intimidated if you have to go in town and you don't have on some known brand shoes or slippers or clothing, or you're flustered with makeup, or your hair well done. Now, I'm saying this, keep in mind, I'm not telling you that one should be not well kept. I'm not telling this to give you a hint or encourage you to be dirty and untidy. I'm just saying to you that once you find yourself comfortable within yourself, then you will start to understand now that things that you are doing and plenty of your operation now, it will take a turn and it will change into a positive aspect, because now you understanding, or you understand who yourself. That is when you start to sink into yourself and you start to really operate that, what really is important at this moment. Because we spend so many moments or energy, or we create so many spaces studying all sorts of things, and sometimes we can't get the answer, we can't get a solution, we can't get nothing, and that is because we did not put ourselves in that space of self-search. We didn't put ourselves in that space where we could take time out and examine ourselves. Examine the God that is within us. We ain't taking that time out because we ain't taking time to see how beautiful we are, minus all these additives. We are just a beautiful set of people. So once we accept how beautiful we are, we don't need compliments from anybody to tell us how beautiful we are. And I'm not saying, for us to be boastful, but it's for us to understand, and as a being to be proud, and to be dominant in wherever we stand, because I am who I am, right? And I am not what they think I am. And I'm saying that, when people see you in a negative or a derogatory term, I am not that. I am not a thief. I am not a murderer. I am not dishonest. I am not ugly. I am not dunce. I am not a picky head. I am the creation of God. And now, since I'm that conscious and I'm still starting to love myself, it will help me to start to appreciate nature. It will allow me to start to appreciate other people. And this is what we really want. So when you hear somebody say, boy, you need to get deep in yourself, you need to search, because oftentimes you'll hear people saying these things, but how do I do it? How do I do these things? And as I said to you, the mirror. Just how we use the mirror as a tool to see how our appearance is, the same how we can use the mirror to actually look at ourselves. And I'm saying to you that there are times we looking at the mirror and we feel serious. And when you look at the mirror and you're watching yourself, you're seeing a smirk. It's like you smiling back at you. And it's such a beautiful vibration, and it makes you feel so peaceful and so contented. All these ill thoughts that we often curse ourselves with, and feel that certain development in our life means that we are negative more than positive. So when you start to look, and you start to look beyond where people say, hey, you're fat, or what people consider you to be fat, or what people consider you to be grey, we look beyond that and we really look at ourselves, how beautiful we are. It would therefore now be easily for one to come and sit down and just be in that space, and everything around them, everything was going on, it becomes empty. It becomes meaningless. You know? So with that now, and you start to study, then you start to study things like, you know, some problem or some situation that you encounter, or some differences you and somebody had. These things now will start to reminisce on these vibration, and within that now, you know, because the only person you can be really truthful to is yourself. So when these things start to come and you really start to examine us, because now you have put yourself in a space of consciousness, and you really start to examine yourself, you will be like, you know, I know I was right, you know, but I should have dealt with that matter differently. You know, or you know what? I was right, and I should have been a little more aggressive, or I should have been a little more voicious in something like this, because people, you know, will take me for. So you know, you start to examine yourself. You know, so that is now, you know, you're starting to get deep within yourself. And only thing you're dealing with right now is yourself. You know, and how can you improve on oneself? You know, and I'm not talking about that, just that physical appearance. You know, while it is good and it is healthy, you know, but if your mind or your mental is not in that place, then don't care what, your manifestation would always be negative, or your energy would always be poor and weak. You know, and hence the reason what happens to some of us who we so focus on this image, you know, that even though we may have, not me, I have a beer mug, but even though we may have a six-pack, greetings, Starseed, bless, you know, we still find, of course, again, fatty about it. Let me work this out, let me think this. And sometimes it's not itself because of one personal gain, and it's just because somebody might pass and say, hey, you getting fat boy. Or, you know, or they have a woman who, woo, she has a Coca-Cola shape, but she might eat a little something extra, and she belly full, and you see a little, you barely seen as well. She want to run in the gym, she want to exercise, or she drinks some juice or something, or a beer, and her lipstick smudge. She want to run in the bathroom to, you know, and that is just the skin surface. That you know, that is just what you're doing now to satisfy your customers. And I use the term customers because that's what they are, because you are giving them a service. You start now to entertain them, you know, because now you becomes a prisoner. You know, you becomes a prisoner, and becoming a prisoner to these people, they start to dictate and control your life. You can't go nowhere, you always need this, you always need that, before you can go here, there, or anywhere. So we need to be cognizant or conscious of the fact that, you know what, I need time out for myself. And not time out for myself so I could lie down and go and sleep. You know, actually sit down or look at that mirror and admire oneself. You know, you may not have a mirror, and you may just sit down and you just let go. What do I mean by let go? You're not thinking about anything. how do you not think about anything? You're not thinking about anything in specific. You start to think about you. You know, what you did today, according to the time of the day. You know, what you did yesterday. You know, what you have to do tomorrow. And what stage or where I'm at. To know that if I'm prepared to be in that space, so when that time do come, I will be able to have all what I truly deserve. You know, so now it's starting to focus on you. How do I become a better me? And that is what, you know, is meant, and that is what is stated when we say search yourself. You know, it's by examining your do's, your don'ts, your doing, and your about to do. You know, and not Michelle and them don't like me and I know they're jealous, you know, or boy tomboy, he's a nasty man, boy, you know, it's not about that. Yes, Michelle or Tom or whoever don't like you, but it doesn't matter what you do, they still wouldn't like you, right? Genuinely, unless something miraculous happen and that person identifies with what they don't like and choose to accept that fact and willing to move past that, then. But other than that, you know, so the time that we take in to appease other people or to appease society is the time that we need to take to spend within ourselves. You know, by staring, by looking at ourselves and examining ourselves. You know, now there are plenty of us. We are extremely proud of ourselves. And it becomes extremely challenging when we are proud or too proud of ourselves to see any improvement that is required or needed. And that is a whole new different ball game, right? And once we fall in that category, is in a category that is almost impossible to come out of. You know, it's not that it cannot happen, but it requires greater, more effort, more energy, and a lot more concentration. You know, and it's not, and a person who have been like that, it's not just about what I do for him and I do and I this, because you know, it is expected that if they ask anybody about a recommendation about his or herself, not all, but there are those who score themselves a perfect 10, you know, and what they would want to take off points from them of is really relevant, you know, and then they will, when they mark themselves, they get a perfect 10, and when you see their behavior, it doesn't align with what their description that was given to identify who they are. You know, and sometimes these people, you may be talking or you may be speaking with these people, but they're so proud that they cannot humble his or herself to see what this individual is saying to me. And this is where the trick of the mirror comes in, or the art of using the mirror. You know, because once you start to stare deep within yourself, you know, you're going to see all the unshown characters that you have either adopted, developed, or mastered. You know, you're going to see how proud you are by certain remarks and certain statements you will be using towards yourself. You know, and once that starts to happen, you know, you have no fault, you know, you find you're perfect in the terms of you ain't have no gray hair and little petty little stupid things, you know. And perfect is the incorrect term that I use, but you would think that you are better than, you know, and you would think, well, yeah, I good, you know. But sometimes we need to look a little deeper, much more deeper than just the image or the view that we see in the mirror. And that's how it stands, because you know there are a lot of us be very proud, and according, we can only take criticism from according to who tell us, you know. And if it's somebody that we see or we ordain in life to be somebody that society have on top of I don't want to say a pedestal, on top of an edge, you know, we would therefore only want to listen to them. And sometimes some of these people, you know, they're nice and truthful and nice and honest to you, you know, but we would rather to listen to them, you know. And if somebody that we might think that are our insubordinates, tell them something, you know, we can't listen to them because who is you? And all these sort of things, you know. So, you know, we become so proud and become so cocky and become so full of ourselves that we cannot see that, you know, some of our manifestation, while it might be our character that make us who we are, but sometimes we need to tone it down. You know, sometimes we need to have control over some of our mannerism, some of our behavior. You know, so by you looking at yourself, you know, the only person that you cannot fool is yourself. Right? You could be in a relationship with somebody for 20 years and you could fool a person for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. And, you know, yeah, you get through. I mean, eventually you will get caught. But you know you could do it. But yourself, you really and truly can't fool yourself unless you choose not to self-examine, not to sit down and look at yourself. You know, and this is what we need to do. You know, and for those who tell us that, you know, that you are not, right, or want to tell us that you are something that is not you, you know, by you finding yourself, you could say with bold assurance that I am who I am. And whatever you say of me, I am of not. You know, once it is within that negative,
Daddy, I saw my
Yes. Yes, okay. Take it now. Yes. So, you know, it is very important that we understand these things, and, you know, as I say, we could start it in the mirror. And then from the mirror, you'll be able to find that space where it's just you and nature all alone. You know, where now we can start to examine yourself, examining yourself is also, there are people who might be around you and thing, all of that. It's not that you're competing, it's not a competition, but in some time in your life, one will need to compare just to gauge to see where he is at. How can I improve? Not to show off or to try to prove a point. Because once you find yourself in that stage of consciousness, there's nobody for you to compete with. There's nobody for you to go a competition with. But there's people in your life who comes in your life that will help you become a better person than you are. So that is being said, I want to tell you that thanks for all those that who tune in and who decide to give me the attention and that love and that respect and tune into my life and thing, and I appreciate your vibration, I appreciate your energy and thing. And we had a nice conversation and a nice topic, and there are questions, and I know there are remarks or there are statements that or comment that you may have. So if you have a little window, so if you have a question that you would like to ask or a statement you would like to make and thing, I see my brethren Sean, he on my live, and I appreciate that. So this is the opportunity that we can make a statement or comment. This being said, continue to view, continue to like, and continue to share. Congratulations, Jordan. And congratulations and welcome. To the live and thing. The topic was based on one finding oneself. How do one find oneself? Easy steps in doing so. And when they say one finding oneself, is one becoming conscious of who he or she is. So be strong, be good, and remember that in everything that we do, we ought to be at our best. Greetings to Betty Lou. I see you tune in and thing, give praises and things. So, as I was saying, I don't know if anybody may have any comment or will have any statement. I don't know how long I have here, because right. So obviously, and because of trials and because of challenges in our life, there are obstacles that will come our way, and we will stumble. And that is why, Jordan, that is why I'm saying to you, or I've been saying, that is why we need to eliminate out of our vocabulary when it comes to progress. We need to eliminate try. We are not trying to be strong. We are not trying to do this. We are not trying. We are being strong. Right? And by you and I being strong, yes, we're going to stumble and fall, but we're not giving up there. We're being strong until we find what we consider to be strength. So, and when we being strong and we going through our moments and everything, it have challenging times, and we praise those challenging times because it makes us stronger than we last were. It makes us more powerful. You know, so it's okay. But I don't want you to try to be strong. I want you to be strong at all times. You know, because you see, when we try, and I'm not saying that you said try, but I'm just saying to you, when we say try, or we use the term try, it automatically means we have already accepted failure. Right? And since we have already accepted failure, it's okay if we fail, because you know, at least we try. But if we are doing it until we get it done, then there is no room for failure. There will only be obstacles that we... Greetings to you as well, Missy, heart of love. You know, it will just only be obstacles that make you know, well, you know what? I need to try this approach differently. I need to do this in a different way or a different manner. And I need to get it done. So, you know, so once we eliminate tries, woo! It's raining, people. It's raining. So, you know, when we eliminate the term try, you know, and we put it in the concept that, hey, I need to get this done, you don't see obstacles as failure. You don't see anything as failure. So when somebody asks you, how you going? Don't tell them, well, I'm trying to be good. Or don't tell them, boy, I'm trying and I'm fighting the fight. No. Tell them, I'm good. Or I'm fighting. Or everything okay, or I'm blessed. You know? And you take away try. Because once we start to find ourselves and we start to understand ourselves and we reach that stage of consciousness, we would be in a state that all these negative attributes would be of no substance to us anymore, because we realizing these words and things that we are saying is only keeping us back. And you know, we don't want to be stagnant or be kept back. We need to progress in a positive vibration. This being said, I love you all. It's raining and woo, I enjoy the rain, but I have a problem. I don't have no clothes to change. So because of this, we'll have to do this live. I mean, twice. I love you. And we'll continue this conversation very soon. You know, so don't forget to continue to watch or view, share, and like. You know, greetings to Christine Edwards. You know, Slim Chick Edwards. Yes. So no, thanks very much, and it was a pleasure. Holy Mother, it was a pleasure that you all on this live, and yeah, I enjoy this live. So let's continue to do that self-searching. Let us try it in that manner by looking in the mirror, where it's just you and you in the mirror and nothing's matter, and then we work our way into seriousness and life. So thank you very much, and I love you all. Bless.